Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
It is picked off by the line. Darius Slay's got it. Coming back right side 25. Picks up a block at the 30. Darius at the 40.
Drink it in, drink it in. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Rolls to the right. Stafford throws deep. Got a man out there. End zone. Caught. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Marvin Jones.
Stafford! Drink it in, drink it in.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Cornbread.
Stafford! Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid, what's going on, everybody? Friday. I mean, I was going to see how long I could do that, but I almost passed out. So trying to give you guys a little something off the top here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast, have a little fun. But it's Friday, man, and we got some Lions topics to talk about. Grifka said he's got some questions he wants to fire at me. I'm sure he's going to sabotage me on at least a couple of them. But Grifka, it's Friday. You're here. We're talking Lions football. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, man, you know how it is here in wintertime in Michigan. It's about time old man winter shows up again, man. We get a couple more inches of snow. I mean, so that means probably, 5-10 days from now when I'll melt away and be 40s again, So, gosh, just messes me up. I totally wish, old man winter would make up his mind. Either show up and stay for a little bit or, leave us alone and just let us go right into spring. But either way, TGIF.
Grifka, how much time do you spend on the week checking the weather report? I'm just curious. Is this the daily? You know how to use the weather app on your phone? Are you actually watching? Is there still even a weather channel? I don't even know.
No, I don't watch Weather Channel. I just usually watch the morning news, before I go into work, and I check out the weather girls there.
Oh man, well, you do the service for the people on the show every Friday. You help them know what's coming and know what's going on weather-wise. You also greet them with your favorite acronym. Grifka, as I often do here on Friday, I'm turning it over. I'm handing the football off to you, and I'm saying, what the heck are we talking about here on a Friday in regards to the Detroit Lions? I'm ready to go. I'm fired up. Let's do this.
Well, okay, man. Well, like I just said, old man winter, finally showed up again. So it's a little chilly out there, and it's going to be cold again tonight. So, once again, it is the off season, officially the off season. No football is happening. Well, at least NFL. We all know the XFL starting, but who's going to really watch that anyways?
So I got to help you with that one, Grifka, with my, I got a few voices I do on the show, and one of them is by this guy named Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I don't know if you've ever seen him. He's got a pretty unique walk when he walks around town, but he would say it something like this. Grifka, I heard something to the effect that this weekend kicks off the XFL. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, exactly. So, well, like I said, it's the off season for the NFL. So here comes the patented Kelvin Johnson, article, and he seems to be chirping a little bit about Detroit. And you know me, I am a huge Calvin Johnson fan. Always liked him. He signed my helmet for me. And I didn't get a chance to shake his hand because he was already great. But even it's to the point now. It's like even I'm getting tired of it, and it's just like one of those things. Like, okay, man, I realize you're the jilted lover and all, but cut it out, man. Okay, I just want to know, since it's so chilly out, I just want to know how you feel about this. Are you tired about hearing about this too? Do you just want to cut it out? You want Dave Burkett, your boy, to tell him just to be quiet?
Grifka, is this a real question? Are you really doing this to me right now?
Oh yeah, because I know you're probably sitting there a little cold, and this is going to get your blood up.
Oh, okay. So, Grifka, you mentioned a certain DB in your initial question there, which that's basically almost banned from the show nowadays. First of all, I know the annual meeting is coming up with the DB. A nice sit down puff piece interview type is going to occur at some point during this off season. You also mentioned a quitter, Grifka, and we're not quitters here on the show. You bring him up from time to time. You talk about him maybe not signing my football and that being the reason for my angst against this player. But you know what it is, Grifka. Like Calvin Johnson, when we signed him, was a freaking phenomenon, and we didn't use him. Then we started to use him, and I kept saying, get him the football. This is the top player we have. And then he started going into the quitter Calvin mode, which was, oh, my hands, my fingers. Oh, I can only practice one day a month, if that, But pay me $20+ million from the wide receiver position. So that's why I got a big issue with this guy. And again, I say it every time you bring him up. I was one of the few guys that was sitting here super happy when he walked away. I was counting that money. I was asking for more than Rod Wood asked for back. If you're not going to play, let's get a refund. I was the guy putting that money towards all these players like Bob Quinn and others did at that point to sort of replenish and get our team headed in a different direction. So what was your question about Calvin Johnson? Now that I've set the table, I can't even remember.
Are you just kind of tired of hearing about this? Do you just want him to cut it out, and, almost kind of just go away?
Every other day it's something with this guy. Like he takes shots every time in the media. What did he show up to recently? Was it the Super Bowl, or he's always some random place and then he's got to knock the Detroit Lions. Like just go away. Like is the $2 million that we took back from you really this huge issue? I mean, gosh, I would almost want him to just go play for another team so he just wouldn't talk about our team as much anymore. Like I'm sure Jacksonville could have you run a couple 9 routes if that's going to make you happy, if you need to get your refund and get a couple milli. I mean, I know you got some quote unquote businesses you're working on, but get out of here with that. I thought your question, Griff, because all this talk about not only the Hall of Fame, but also, when are the Lions going to make up with him? When's he going to be back in the fold? I mean, are there really people that are sitting there totally missing this guy? I mean, I know for his whole career he didn't say anything and he was just a quiet football player, but I mean, are people really clamor? Do they miss that he's not out there in the ceremonial jersey? I mean, what do they think he would be out there, just kissing babies and hugging women? No, he'd just be sitting there quiet as a mouse doing nothing like he did when he was here. The only reason people loved him is when he was catching touchdowns and making big football plays. So yeah, just please go away. DB, please don't make us suffer through your annual fireside chats with Calvin Johnson. Hey, Calvin Johnson, I hope they make you sit there for another 5+ years and wait for the Hall of Fame if you get there, because people don't just hang them up all of a sudden and then get put in at first blush. Like, I hope you have to wait a little bit longer, because, again, I was glad we could move on, but also, I mean, you did your team a disservice. You did the city a disservice at the end. Sure, you were a good Boy Scout there for the first, handful of seasons, but towards the back half, it was more trouble than good, and now all we got to do is have the Detroit Lions get beat up left, right, and center by every time you get a microphone. Come on, man. You're better than that. Or as I often tell certain people on Twitter, at least I thought you were. Come on, man. You got to do better. You got to just not talk bad about us. We don't say anything about you. I mean, I just don't get what his big issue is other than this little money, which should be a drop in the bucket for this guy. So I know a lot of people, there are some Calvin fans, and people wonder why I have this take, why I have this feeling. It's more so because I feel like he just quit on the franchise and is clamoring about nothing and then taking pot shots for no reason. It'd be one thing if we were coming back and saying stuff, or even former players were sick of it like you are now, but nothing we say. It's just he's got to say how bad the franchise was and why they take my money. And, I don't know if I ever want to return for the team. It's okay, we get it. I'm sure you're not thankful for that, $100-some million that they paid you over 7-8 seasons that you actually put on a helmet. Grifka, that's all I got. What else we got to talk about?
Just a quick follow-up question to that. So, you do believe Calvin Johnson eventually will get into the Hall of Fame, though, correct?
I guess so. I mean, it's for all the stat people that just say, oh, look at his numbers. Okay, well, did he ever win us anything big? Did he ever actually, put his heart and soul on the line towards the end of his career? No, he's a wide receiver that made some plays, put up some numbers, some empty numbers, and then literally quit on our team. I mean, for the only reasons was what, my hands were beat up, I was tired, I didn't want to deal with the grind anymore. Come on, man, that doesn't sound like a Hall of Famer type attitude. Now, when you look at the peak of his career and his numbers in general, yeah, sure, that's Hall of Fame. But like I say, I almost feel like if you sort of somewhat cheat the game, as I feel he did towards the end, you should have to wait a little bit. But I'm sure he'll probably go first ballot, because Hall of Fame, it's either the media loves you or your numbers are undeniable. And I think at least one of those are true, and two of those are true for one person at least I know.
And I don't even know if he has a Hall of Fame vote. But, yeah, it's like, Calvin Johnson, I feel, is a Hall of Famer. I don't believe he's a first ballot. Might be one of those guys like, Terrell Owens, make him wait, a few years, third, fourth year or something like that. Then he gets in. He's not going to be one of those guys that's going to be like 80 years old and he finally gets voted in by some veterans committee, though. He'll be there before that. But, I feel you. I mean, that's one of those things I wish he would have, been around a couple more years, 2-3 more years. But, yeah, I guess it is what it is at this point. Like I said, I'm, just to piggyback, we got your point, Calvin. We don't need to hear it, anymore. Just like you said, you're better than that. Let's just keep it that way. So,
real quick though, like, I guess I want to sum it up with this. Like, I know I go on rants for entertainment value and just have some fun here on the show, but to me, it's nothing personal with the guy. Like, I just try to have fun with it. I am sort of hurt from a fan perspective, because when I just don't like when people walk away. I mean, I wasn't a diehard when Barry did it, but I'm not a fan of that. Like, I'm not a fan, especially when you're still got not only years to play, but everybody fights through injuries. Same reason I came on here and did a 10-minute rant about Andrew Luck quitting on his other football players because, he was sore. He didn't want to play anymore. Like, I mean, you can do that when you're in your back end of your 30s, but don't do that in like your late mid 20s, end of your 20s, and act like, that you're not cheating these other guys that are busting their tail every day. So to me, it's just more of like coming from I'm a diehard Lions fan, not a Calvin Johnson fan or a Matt Stafford fan or I love the Detroit Lions. I want to see them do well, whoever has the jersey on. So that's kind of where my takes come from when it comes to him, is like, dude, it's not about you anymore. You left the game. It's not about, the different things you did or the things they did to you. It's about the team, the organization. And at least for me, it is. So I just don't want it to come off totally personal, even though I have fun joking around and coming at him here on the show. It's more about, I want him and I want other people to respect the team, as well as I want this team to win and don't care who is in the jerseys, to be honest.
Yep, that's a good take, man. I know your blood got up there a couple minutes, but you were able to keep it in check there. So let's do this. Let's take a break for a pause for our sponsors. Make sure your blood pressure is completely back down to where it should be, and then we don't have to get the paddles out when you're having a heart attack here. So let's do that.
All right, everybody, we'll take a quick break. Please listen to our sponsors. Please visit Spotify, Anchor Podcasts. We'll be right back. Everybody, back after the break. Grifka's got more stuff to throw at me, and I may have a few curveballs for him. Oh man, did I just say curveballs on the show? I have to edit that out later. Grifka, I might have a couple option passes or a couple deep bombs for you. We'll see what happens here on the show. Grifka, what's going on?
I want to do this. I want to start off with this. It's not indirectly deals with the Lions, but I just want to get your thoughts on this. Next year, it's already been announced that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to play 2 games over in London on back-to-back weekends. And the rumor is one of the games could be the Detroit Lions. My question to you is, do you like it when the Lions play overseas like that? You like it when they go over to London? I know sometimes the game starts at 1 o'clock and sometimes they start like at 9:30. Is that something you're a big fan of?
So here's the thing. A couple of years ago when they got blown out by the Chiefs, I was supposed to go over there. I have actually some family that lives over there, as well as some of my prior work connections that actually help out with that game from an event operation standpoint. We're over there. So I was all set to go over. And then late in the game, I think it was work and a couple of things came up and I sort of had to bail. I didn't have everything bought and paid for, but I was definitely heading that way. Didn't go. Lions got their tails kicked like 40-3 or something ridiculous like that. I think I recall. And I was like, man, thank goodness I wasn't there. I would have, even though it'd be fun to tour around the city, I can do that some other time. Like, I just would have been bummed how my team performed. And then a couple years prior, I was actually helping out with a youth camp, and that's when they played Atlanta. Remember that crazy comeback they had there where like they were down 18 points or something late in the game to come back and end up winning it with a field goal. I think it was at the buzzer. It was just one of those crazy mid-season wins that really put us over the top. So kind of some good Lions memories. So I don't mind it when they go over there. I mean, if I'm the organization, the head coach, whatever, I'm definitely would like to not go. I mean, once is one thing, but it definitely interrupts your season and it's kind of a nuisance more so than anything. As a fan, I love watching the games when they would put them on at 9. So you get a 9 o'clock, you get a little pregame, you get the 1, the 4, this, 8 o'clock on a Sunday. It's just all day football. Like, to me, that was awesome. I think they actually scaled that back. I felt like this year they weren't doing the 9s as much anymore. It was a lot of, 1 o'clock. I think they had one that started really early, watching James Winston throw like 5 or 6 picks at 9 in the morning one of these Sundays this season. But I mean, I think it's okay to promote the game. I think it's okay that the Jaguars have kind of taken that as their thing. But overall, I'm not like enthralled, other than if I can get them 9 o'clock, and if my Lions can go over there and get a Dubski, maybe go over there and play a team where it's their home game, and we go there and it doesn't feel like a road atmosphere and, one of these big stadiums. I'm all for that. Get a win, come back, love that.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like, I don't mind when they go over there as a fan. Like you said, that when they do the 9 o'clock start, that's pretty cool actually. Like, you wake up, it's like, oh man, the game's gonna be on here pretty soon, as opposed to like waiting until like 1 o'clock. So, so it is pretty neat to see. That would definitely be something like I would love to bucket list. I think that would be so fun going over there to watch a game. I know they always show like all the fans, they wear whatever jersey they can find, and it always seems like a raucous crowd over there, no matter who's playing. So I think that would just be a blast just to go over there and watch the Lions play a game. That would definitely be something. And I know just from hearing people that have traveled over to London, I mean, it's not a cheap city to go to. Most international cities are not cheap to go to. But still, that would be something that, it's like you go to the bank and ask for a loan, take out a small loan. Well, what are you going to do with this money? I plan on going to London to see the Lions play. I think it's like, right. Yeah, loan denied, but still, that would be pretty cool to see, something to do like that. And I guess I'm kind of in agreement with you. I think maybe at first, a team, GM may find it, like, oh, this might be neat, but after a while, it's just like, okay, that's something that really messes with the way an NFL schedule works for the team and their practice time and stuff like that. And just a minute, do you have the conspiracy music here really quick? Because I want you to throw it on for this, because this leads into something really quick. Just a note I saw today upon reading this, and
do I have the conspiracy music? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Just tell me when, Grifka.
Right now, because I have a question for you. Do you know there's one team that has never played an international game? And can you name that team?
That's probably one of two teams. I would think it'd have to be either the Pittsburgh Steelers or more so the Dallas Cowboys.
Nope. Dallas has played international games. And it's like, really? I'm not talking just London, Mexico as well, but there's one team that has never played. The Green Bay Packers. Can you believe that? I mean, this is just like, are you kidding me? When I read that, I'm like, of course this crap is rigged. I mean, wouldn't they draw? Everybody's like, they're like probably one of the most well-known teams, like either right up there with the Green Bay, Green Bay Packers, Dallas Cowboys. People know those teams. And you're gonna tell me, it's like the NFL's like they're not gonna put one of their like best, most well-known teams overseas or in Mexico. Oh no, you guys can just keep playing in Lambos. You guys can keep on getting the calls. Because I think even the fans down in Mexico City or over in London would notice this, like, isn't that pass interference? What do you mean? A penalty on the team on that? And they watch.
PI?
Yeah, exactly. So when I read that, I'm just like, yeah, like this crap ain't rigged. Like they're never gonna send Green Bay like out of like the out of the continental United States. Because what, like, nobody's ever heard of the city of Green Bay? Well, nobody knows where Green Bay is outside of, the United States, so they're not going to watch them. Give me a break. Send their butt overseas once. I'm sure, like, Aaron Rodgers probably, I can't go over there because, I might have to shave my mustache or something like that. Or, whatever. I mean, either send him down to Mexico City and make him play on a Monday night, for Pete's sake. Fine. If you want to do that to keep him in the relatively same time zone for everybody, but everybody else goes over to London and plays. Everybody else goes to see that city. But no, not Green Bay. Oh, yeah, we got to keep Green Bay in the United States. Everybody's got to watch them at 1 or 4 or, 9 o'clock. Yeah, whatever. That's the biggest crock of crap I've ever seen, man. When I read that, I'm just like, yeah, like this freaking league isn't rigged. Whatever. Give me a break. Screw you, Aaron Rodgers, you smug piece of junk. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, speaking of international teams.
Hold on. I gotta come back. First of all, I need to give you one more extra bell for another whatever. You snuck in about 3 or 4, but here's one more. The other part that I thought was great about that, you said something about Aaron Rodgers having to shave his mustache. What is that? Some type of rule, Grifka? When you go to England, you can't have a mustache. Is that a rule?
He probably can, but people might mistake him for, like, a porn star or something like that, and he doesn't want to, that international, thought of that he's a clean-cut American boy or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that's another reason why they send him over. I don't know.
What would be great is, like, not only have they not been there, but, like, they not only need to send the smug, annoying Green Bay Packers over to London, they need to make it a home game. That way those people in Green Bay get a game in Lambeau taken away. It can't be some road game against the Jaguars where they don't care anyway. And like you say, they can't do that because the people own the team. It's like, come on with that. Like you say, it's such an advantage, and they don't ever acknowledge it, that these guys, like, not only do they get all the primetime games in their house most of the time, they don't get sent on these big trips. Like, what was it last year? Some team didn't play at home for like 5 or 6 weeks because they had to take this rodeo tour circus machine all over this different countries and coast to coast trips. Green Bay's just sitting there in their home having this perfectly schedule. Like, it is ridiculous. Like, I give you crap because I think it's funny that you not only have the music, and I killed your music because I thought you were going to end on "Give Me a Break," which is another great Grifka. That's a Grifka bell all day, every day. But yeah, give me a freaking break, man. Like, send these guys on the same stupid trips you send everybody else on. They're supposed to be the most storied franchise and just have all this history. Yeah, send them over to those blokes over there in London and let them watch the cheeseheads. They'll be like, what do these moron Americans have mozzarella on their head for? What a bunch of idiots. like that's what they need to do for sure. That's a good pull by you, and that needs to happen. Hey, Roger Goodell, do us all a freaking favor and send mozzarella, Swiss, Gorgonzola, all those other jabrones over to London and keep them there for all we care.
Yeah, exactly. Next question here really quick. Speaking of international teams, there's always that talk, like they're going to, they're trying to expand and put a team over in London. Do you actually think, like, a team, if one was to move there, say Jacksonville, would actually take? Do you think, like, I know at first the fans would probably love it, but I mean, Jacksonville, they had like one good up year, and then they're down for a number of years, and still, like, winning draws fans. And another thing is, so you think a team could take there, and like would make it work, and then would you think they'd be able to draw free agents? I mean, I realize draft, you get drafted, you go there, but you think they'd be able to draw free agents overseas?
Grifka, you're basically asking me, do I think the NFL can have a team in London long or full time? And instead of me answering, I mean, maybe I should just let this guy do it for me, because this is what I think that would be.
It's a bad decision. Period. Point blank. It was one of the dumbest decisions I ever made.
Like, thank you, Pac-Man, one of the wisest men of all time, with that quote. Like, they put these games over there and they keep talking. What is this? What are we going on, like a decade now with this talk about, one day there'll be a team in London. I mean, Roger Goodell, he has this vision. yeah, I have a vision too that after season 2, no one's going to give a crap. No one's going to care. No one's like you. There's no way you work out that travel, as you said. Okay, I'm sure some players like love London to go visit, but you think they really want to live over there? I mean, yeah, you're going to need a select few. You're not going to get a majority. You're never going to be able to compete from that perspective, as well as like good luck figuring out the travel and all the logistics with that. Like it just, to me, it makes no sense. It's totally fine the way they have it now. Play a couple token games over there. I wouldn't even mind if they go back to, hey, just play a preseason or take the Pro Bowl over there every once in a while. They get a look at American football. Congratulations, but you know, I think it's such a gimmick. I really have not been a huge fan. I mean, other than, like you say, if our team is there and we were able to take a trip, you know, it would be fun. But other than that, it just doesn't make any sense on any level. And I just don't see the appeal anyway. Like they're never going to be their top sport over there. Like, okay, there's people that are somewhat enjoy American football. Like it's never going to be like it is here in the States. Just like everybody always tried to remember when we were coming up in school, oh man, soccer is going to be the biggest sport ever on the come up. Like it's exactly what it's always been. Like some people love it. The majority of people are just like, whatever, you know, don't they play that over in Europe and Brazil and all that? I mean, it's not our sport. It's not anything that we crave here in the States, just like them. They just go for a token visit, and some diehards over there, but to me, not enough to support a franchise or to figure it out from an NFL competitive perspective. I mean, you want to talk about not being able to compete. I mean, Green Bay would probably have multiple games against the London team every year, you know, just so they could get the leg up, because that team's not going to be able to do it from a travel, an acquisition, or even just I don't even know, just a game planning standpoint. I don't know how you do it when you're just over there. It just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, could you imagine that team when it came up to like how they always like rotate the schedule? You know, you're in London and you get stuck playing like the NFC West or the AFC West. You know, that's like your crossover. I mean, you got to make 2 trips, you know, from London out to like, you know, San Francisco or Seattle.
Yeah. Good luck with that. That's Grifka, that would be your new gimmick. It would be London team going west, automatic loss.
Be never won.
Do that up right now. Never won.
Well, we're not talking East Coast team going west. We're talking like Greenwich Mean Time team going west. Okay, I mean that's just like
right. Why even roll
5 hours ahead of us? Could you imagine an 8-hour time gap? It's just like, yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, I could almost see a team like in Mexico City before I could see one in London. You know, just, I mean, I think they would be able to maybe draw free agents simply because, I mean, it's still relatively the same time zones and, you know, it's closer. I mean, so same hemisphere, but still, I even that I would have a hard time finding a team stick, you know, because you're right. It's not even there. You know, American football is not even there. Number 1 sport down there is still, you know, soccer. So,
Grifka, I want to do a real
baseball as well. So, what's that?
Grifka, you're getting very willy-nilly about mentioning the sport we shall not speak of. That's multiple shows now. You're pushing your luck. I got to say it. But before we move on, I want to do one quick one. Cue the music. Grifka, you know what the real conspiracy is? Is that they've been playing these joke football games over there, and every year they're just throwing the carrot out of, oh, maybe we'll have a franchise or something. Like I said, what are you gonna do that for 2 decades, 50 years before you actually either do it or don't do it? Like, that's the biggest conspiracy ever, is Roger Goodell just, hey, let's just tell them for 30 years that maybe we'll have a team over there and just take their money 2-3 times a year with these token games, and that'll be good enough. And then they all of a sudden 30 years, never mind. we don't want a team over here. Like, that's what's going down right there. NFL with a total okie doke on the old Euros.
Yeah. Plus, besides going to a Detroit Lions game, I know you're always guaranteed to see a Miami Dolphins jersey over at a London game, just like you're always guaranteed to see Miami Dolphins jersey at a Detroit Lions game.
Dan Marino all day. Aqua. It's always the aqua too. It's never the white. It's never any of the alternates. It's the aqua.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so that's enough on the international talk. We are now, international, flavored on this one. I just got one other quick question for you. I mean, I know we're coming up to the draft. It's your favorite time of year. My question is, it seems like right now the default pick, I've seen like 95, percent of like the, mock drafts right now. It looks like without any trades, of course. It seems like everybody's picking, Jeff Okudah, the cornerback out of Ohio State for us. I mean, is this something, you think that might change, once, pro days are done and, somebody always jumps up, or you think this one, it seems like right now it's just automatically slotted for us?
Grifka, I believe your question is, will this change? Grifka, is that a real question, really? Come on now. You've been around the show long enough. Like, I should have spent more time on this topic had I known you were going to throw it at me than ranting and raving about Calvin and Euro football. But this is how it works, Grifka. We're 2+ months away from the draft. You hear the same names over and over. I actually laugh hard, like the few times I turn on 97.1, because they just mention the same people. I mean, every year, like the Carson Anderson, they want the best linebacker, and then you get into these mock drafts. You see the same 3-4 names, and you see the same type of runaround. And when the draft comes, it never goes down like that. Not only with early or the Lions picks, but the first multiple rounds are just craziness. We have no gauge on what NFL teams really think. So, me, you, other people, we all fall into this. Hey, it's Okudah, it's Derek Brown, it's Simmons, and it's like, I would not be shocked if it's none of those people. Lots of talk about Tua, and everybody's just throwing that out the window. Like, I don't think that's totally off the board, as well as don't be surprised if the Lions or, I don't know, 5 or 10 other teams pick somebody and you're like, huh? What? Like, it happens every freaking year, yet every time mocks and everything come out, people just go with chalk. They just grab somebody's rankings and they're like, all right, let me slot the top 30 to 40 players in the top round slot and put them at different teams with those needs. Like, it's not that easy. Like, people just, let me look at the needs and give them a linebacker. I'll give the Lions a corner because they need a corner. Like, no, it's not how it happens. And that's why I've seen a few that are just getting outside the box with some of these players. Like, you got him in the first round, and it's like, that's people's reactions. And my reaction is always, ooh, they got him in the first round. Like, that's mental note, because, the people that really know what they're doing or have the off the board picks are the people that are usually right. They either know something we don't know, or they're thinking multiple levels deep instead of the same old. So, people can mock Okudah and all these people, but I mean, I've been on record multiple times. I do feel like this is the year the trade down will occur. I've heard lots of reports recently. We didn't get into it on the Wednesday, or maybe don't have time totally here, but let me throw one back at you. Like, you've been hearing all this stuff about, like, legit reporters saying they are hearing like national buzz about a Matthew Stafford trade. I mean, let me put you on the spot right here in early February, Grifka. Can you see that happening at all? And if so, like, what type of percentage you put on it right now?
I guess it depends on how much in love the Lions are with one of those quarterbacks. Myself, it just seems like Burrow will be off the board, and I like Justin Herbert more than I do Tua. So if I can't see it happening, though, simply because, even though Martha was like, oh, you guys got to, this year you got to be, competitive. I don't think they can rebuild with a rookie quarterback. That this team, I think the coach and the GM are working this year for their job with the Detroit Lions. So they're going to go with a known commodity more so than putting all their eggs in the basket of a rookie quarterback, either Tua, Justin Herbert, or, was it Love out of Utah State or something like that. So I mean, yeah, it can happen. I mean, but right now I'm going to put it probably something kind of low, like maybe at 30%. I think they want to stick with Stafford because they know it's like this is their make or break year. They're not going to be able to claim, 5-win. We got a rookie quarterback type thing, and like that. That's not going to fly.
See, I still think 30% is high, and I also think that, my thing is like everybody that I see is just, it's a very, very small minority that is even considering that could happen. And we've been on the show. We support Matt Stafford. We'd love to see him healthy and leading this team for the next, we know he's not going to play, 8-10 more years, but he's got at least 3 to 5 really solid seasons, I would think. So unless I'm getting a ransom for him, which again, I'm always open to value. Like if somebody's going to say, like, one of these teams that's looking for a quarterback is just like, hey, screw getting a rookie. Like, let's just go get Matt Stafford. And they feel like he's their guy. If they're willing to pony up, like, I'm at least willing to listen and consider it. But, I know you just said Herbert over Tua. Like, I mean, I think people are just sleeping on, like, how good Tua is when and healthy, as well as just what a leader he is. So my biggest thing is that if they went off the board and went with the QB, like, it would be that guy that, yeah, okay, he can throw it, he can run it, he's got the physical attributes, but it'd be that guy that you see in the league that just refuses to lose. Every game when, like, you think, how are we going to get this done? He just shows up every time. And I think Tua could be that type of player. Just like, you don't even know how he does it, but he's just winning ball games left, right, and center. But I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say, big picture, is like, think outside the box as well as don't get caught in these traps, because like at the end of the day, if they go ahead and take a corner, either hopefully not at 3, but if they trade down and get them, hey, great. That's what we somewhat expected. That's what we need. But like almost train your mind to know that they may read that card off and it may be somebody that either we hadn't talked about. Like, I won't get into it on this show, Grifka, but I want to do a big talk when we start getting closer and talking more draft about Simmons. Like, this guy is so versatile and such a leader and such a chess piece. Like, he's, excuse me, he's kind of like my target guy now, which you don't see in many mocks because you see the Okudas, the Derek Browns, even the quarterback talked about. I mean, I don't see Simmons as a linebacker. I see him as just a guy that you can play from sideline to sideline in the middle of the field. We already have guys on the back end, safeties, and we already have some guys that can rush, and we can get rushers later, but we don't have a roamer in the middle that can cover tight ends, running backs, and can run and hit and blitz. And I think Simmons can do that. So long and short, who knows who they'll pick. We'll get a better vision, but you said, will it change? It's going to change a million times. I think a lot of this trade talk even right now is about Stafford and others is just random. Hey, we got to talk about something, until we get closer. I don't put a ton of stock into it. And I think that, come draft day, it's going to be like every year. Don't think you got it all figured out, because these GMs, they think and they know a lot of different things about these players that we don't know.
Yeah, that's what I like your take on that. But like you said, it just seems at this point of year, everybody's just grabbing chalk, and that's who they're going with. So that's how everybody's going to like start to sleep, go for it. It's like, and then, when it doesn't happen, they're going to be like, why didn't we take Okuda? What the heck were they thinking? So,
Grifka, real quick, I hate to do this, but I'm going to, and you know that I kind of love it. I have to throw you under the bus for a second. So you kind of failed the Senior Bowl quiz last week. I had a little fun with my audio editing equipment to make it entertaining for the people. But if Grifka has to turn in his draft card right now with the 3rd pick, the Detroit Lions select, like, who would it be right now? And give me the reason why.
This is them, with the re-signing of Slay and keeping him and not trading him away with a, sign and trade type thing. I would take Derek Brown out of Auburn simply because it seems like what they're going to lose in free agency and let A'Shawn Robinson walk in. Even though Hand's coming back, it seems like the defensive line's pretty thin, and Derek Brown's one of those guys that can be pretty dominant. That's as of right now, though.
Grifka, have you put your head around that if you go up and turn in that card for Derek Brown, passing on Tua, passing on Simmons, passing on this corner, like have you thought through those scenarios? Like what if you take Derek Brown and he's a pretty good to above average defensive tackle, and Tua is just what I said, a winner, a top flight quarterback? Are you still going to be okay because the Lions have a serviceable quarterback? You're not going to double think that down the road?
Nope, because I don't think Tua's going to be all that good, and hip injuries tend to linger. So that's what I think.
Okay.
So I'm perfectly fine with them passing on Tua.
Because I like Derek Brown, but I don't know that he has dominant star potential. Like, I could see Okudah being a lockdown corner. I could see Simmons be the new NFL football player that everybody's looking for, that can play all these positions, can really be a leader of your team. And like you say, I want number 9 to do it, but I think that, I think if you really want to be aggressive, and like you say, if Bob Quinn and Matt Pat are thinking big picture and not worried about the right here and now, because the here and now might not be as rewarding as the big picture, which would be a total change, total ransom. What if you could just get a haul for Matt Stafford? What if you could then trade down out of number 3 and still pick up, either a new signal caller or wait a year and get one the final? Like, it could change your team for decades,
But
anyway,
I still think they're playing for their coaching and managing this team for this year, because
that's what everybody thinks. That's the stock answer. I'm telling you, what if Bob Quinn and these guys have a bigger vision that they've been working on for 2 years?
They don't have that collateral. They don't have that collateral. They don't have that. That's all used. That's all used up, and we can talk about this on another show, just so we don't run really, really long. And I wouldn't mind having that, but I just think that collateral's all gone. It really is.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I took it from a different perspective because I want you and other people to not think that way and not think that same old, because it could be that, but it could be a much bigger game plan than any of us are willing to wrap our heads around. And same with the pick. They could trade down once or twice and pick a guy that's we haven't talked about once throughout the process, but doesn't mean he's not going to be a good player. It doesn't mean that it'd be a wrong. It might mean it's a lot different than the same old that you'll see from now until probably, late March, early April.
Yeah. But yep, I know we'll have plenty of conversations on that. But okay.
You think we'll get in a few arguments this draft season, Grifka?
Yeah, probably just a couple.
You've been doing that homework.
That's right. I got the Cliff Notes version.
Oh man, good stuff. So, we good? You got anything else? I know you said you're gonna close it up, I think, huh?
Just one more thing, before the official close. If anybody wants to, disagree with us on anything that we talked about this week or in the future, please give us a call at 989-272-3484. Once again, that's 979-272-3484. Or once again, you can hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Grifka DKC, and that's at Derek Oakrey. I don't think you have anything after yours, like Derek Oakrey now number 1 or something like that, or Derek Oakrey rules or anything like that, right? You haven't changed your Twitter handle?
No, just straight up. I don't have a cool handle like you, Grifka. Just the straight up name. I mean, I got to say, I'm always making more noise, putting out mocks. I have to get in an argument with you every once in a while just because I wake you up. So you actually will tweet something or interact with the people. So I got to rile you up. But nope, just at Derek Oakrey. You did fumble up the number the second time, not 979. We don't want people calling somebody random house and saying, "What up, Koolaid Cast?" You got to hit up that number, 989-272. Kevin Smith, Herman Moore.
That's 3484 people there. Sorry about that. My bad.
No doubt. So with all that being said, Grifko, we do it every single week. I mean, to me, it doesn't get better. It can't get better. It's the way we got to end the show. The people want it. I mean, do you have anything else for the people?
Nope.
Grifka said it all, everybody. We've said it all for this week. That's our Friday show. We'll get up out of here. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Football's over. The Super Bowl's over. We're into the off season. We're going to be talking about free agency, draft, combine, rebuilding the team. Before you know it, training camp will be here. It's going to be a great off season. Stick with us right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast because we know you guys love to do this.
Drink it in, man.
Take care, everybody. We're out.
Pack the bag, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.
Drink it in, man.